I think we are on. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah. Welcome to our weekly New Gambia platform show. Today is November 7th, 2021. And our topic today is to discuss about the nomination to 2021 election. We are here to discuss the outcome of the nomination, those who are qualified and those who are not, and why those who were not qualified were not qualified. I will look at step by step the candidates, what are the issues that they face in order to get the nomination. So welcome all our viewers to our weekly platform, New Gambia Platform Talk Show. Thank you. I'm with you, with our co-panelists, Famara Drame, and later on, our other co-panelist, Sam Sise, will join us. I am your host, Mumudu Sawane. Welcome, Famara. Famara.
Thank you so much, Shaune. Good morning. How are you today?
Very good, very good.
Very good. Interesting. As you rightly said, we are getting close to the elections in the Gambia. And then so far, so good. We're making progress. Actually, I think now we have 27 more days before the elections are now, or probably less than that. So far, so good. We have seen the nomination. We have seen that the nomination has been completed at the IEC on Friday, on Saturday. The IEC conducted a press conference to say who qualified and who did not qualify. So that is a test of our democracy. And then so far, so good. We are getting there. At the beginning of the race, we have seen over 26 candidates have filed in their nomination to become the next president of the Republic of the Gambia. So out of that 26, they went through all the requirements which the IEC requested for. And then the forms were available to each candidate, including the guidelines or the requirements to submit a nomination form. So all the candidates had the time to go through those requirements, fill in the forms, and then, each were given a slot, to bring in, their forms at the IEC. And interestingly, all was over on Friday. Everybody was asked to. I think the first group of people that went in to submit, which includes Marisol and the other independent candidates, they had some pending paperwork to submit, which they were given up to Friday to bring those documentations. But so far so good. We have seen the majority of the candidates that came in were given a receipt or confirmation that their application has been submitted, but it will go through popular scrutiny, and then they will be confirmed on Saturday whether their nominations were accepted or not. So this was something that was done over the weekend or yesterday. And then so far, so good. We have seen that 14 candidates' applications were rejected. Your 5 already withdrew from the race even before the nomination started, or even alongside before the declaration was done, to confirm who is qualified and who is not qualified. So 5 has withdrawn. So now we are left with 6 confirmed political parties or candidates that are supposed to go to the presidential election. So far, so good. This is what we have seen so far. So a lot of candidates' applications were rejected. Some of them simply because they did not, they fell short of the signatures that was required in some administrative areas. So that being the case, that was in contravention to the electoral laws, and therefore their nomination were unable to be granted permission or accepted. So I know a couple of candidates so far, or probably 3 candidates has come over yesterday to give a video or talk about why they are expressing their disappointment about why their application was rejected. And then they said they've been to the IEC to file an appeal, which according to the law, they said it should be done within 24 hours or midnight of the day of nomination. And I've seen my father, obviously single-handedly, been to the IEC, and he made a video there that he came to the IEC to submit his appeal, but then nobody was there at the time at the IEC to receive his appeal. And then he wasn't able to get in touch with the IEC chairman, Aliu Momonjai, and of course, the chief electoral officer, Samunjai, to inform them that he's at the IEC to submit his appeal, but nobody is here to receive the appeal. So hopefully, because he has communicated to IEC already, and then there's nobody to receive this appeal. So hopefully, IEC will look into his case. And I think Dr. Sise also came out, made a video to say that, they have fulfilled the 200 that they were short. In fact, they said, I think they were saying there were 280 that they already submitted in that form. So obviously, I'm sure they also have a case to listen to, or they have an appeal, against the decision of the IEC. So I'm sure IEC, according to the law, will grant them, a hearing, just to make sure that they are in compliance with whatever, violation or whatever area they fell short that they think was not the right thing to do. So I'm sure they will be given those permission, obviously. Yeah, so far so good. This is the case we had so far. Your Marisok also came out yesterday. We have seen the video and we also seen the written text of her reason for withdrawal, partly because she holds a dual nationality or citizenship, and then she's a partly American citizen and also a Gambian, and then also she was having a trouble to renounce his American citizenship, and that she has contacted the American embassy a couple of times, but because of this COVID-19 regulations going on at the embassy, they were not able to see public or any member of citizens to do those kind of procedures because it was not an emergency situation. They only deal with emergency situations. And in her case, they did not think that was an emergency case. So she had delay in renouncing her American citizenship. So up to the time of nomination, she did not have that certification to say she is no longer an American citizen. So far, so good. This is what we have learned so far. Maybe some other candidates might come in later, or maybe they might have already made some press reviews or whatever that we have not seen before. But so far, these are the three candidates that I've seen came out, to go against or appeal against the IEC's decision for not accepting their nominations.
Excellent. Well stated, Mfamara. Wow. So we're gonna go candidate by candidate, especially those having conflicting argument. So my Fadi is saying that he has appeal, but his appeal hasn't been accepted. Is that what you said?
Yeah, at the time, yes, because he made a video at the IEC headquarters. I think it was late at night. I don't know what time it was but according to his statement, that he was supposed to do it before midnight. So obviously, probably he has been there by around 10 o'clock or maybe 11 o'clock. I'm not sure by the time, but it was late at night. It was a little bit dark because even in his video, he said it's dark over here. So I don't know what time he has actually been there. But what I can confirm is I've seen the video. He has been to IEC. And according to what he said, he has contacted the IEC boss, and the IEC boss referred him to contact the chief electoral officer, Mr. Njai Samunjai, and then he was in communication with both of them, but none of them were available at the time, to receive his application or his appeal. But at least they have actually heard from him, and then he was also appealing against the decision of the IEC. So now I don't know whether they will see him today or what, I don't know, but at least he has rejected or refused or denied the claims by the IEC that he fell short in an administrative area, probably in Banjul, by 200 votes or something. So this was the situation.
Okay. Well, Mvamara, in my case, it looks like, if you couldn't meet these people on time by the deadline, unless there's an extension on, the midnight deadline to file the claim, perhaps it would be thrown out or it won't materialize. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably. But if he has been before the midnight and he went to the IEC building and there's nobody to appeal to receive the appeal, I think IEC should also be able to anticipate that, because if the law says that whoever's nomination is rejected, and then they have up to midnight of that particular day. I'm not sure about the relevant section of the law, electoral law, that says that. So I'm just basing on my argument on what my party was saying. But I don't see the claim. I'm not quoting from the electoral law specifically. But according to what Mai was saying, that the law says he has to be there midnight of the day that the nomination was filed. So which he actually did, because he went on the site and then he made a video at the IEC headquarters at night, and then there was nobody to receive the application or his appeal letter. And he said he has contacted the IEC board. So in that regard, then if IEC knew that they have rejected some political parties and maybe likely, one or two might reject their appeal, I think they should also be prepared before midnight to receive any appeal coming from any potential candidate that might reject their claim. So this is what Mike is saying. So in this case, I believe if he contacted the IEC and none of the IEC were available, probably he should be granted a hearing, to listen to his case, whether it is something that is, genuine or not. Then we'll be able to know whether, it is accepted or not, his appeal is accepted or not. But otherwise, then that might be the end of it right now, until the following elections, when they have enough time to prepare themselves.
Right. Okay. So that is Mai's case. The only surprising thing there, Mai has been in politics for years, and as a lawyer, I think he knows what it takes. What are the rules and so forth. So coming to come short should be something. Do you think it has to be something of kind of negligence, or not prepared enough, or doesn't have the people?
Well, that's the subject of debate here, because Mai is refuting that he did not fall short of the 200 voters that was required of him in the Banjul administrative area. So according to him, I think probably they have that number. So I don't know what happened in the paperwork that IEC could not see it, or they know what, I don't know. So that's something that IEC will have to determine, and then listen to Mai's case and then see whether he has genuinely submitted the 200 candidates or not. So that's something we have to find out. So it's only IEC that can answer to that. But according to my head, they did. But from the paperwork that IEC got, I think they said might fell short. So it's just a question of proving yourself right, and then whether it is existing or not. Then the IEC have the final say to that. But obviously, yes, he's a lawyer. He has been in the political field for a while. So we expect such things to be completed before completing your paperwork. So this is the subject of debate here, which Mai is actually, disappointed about.
Now, good. Now, so is there is there a possibility that you can have the number submitted, but perhaps the number is inflated or they don't exist as such, and the IEC could discover that those some people are the signatures or people that you said behind those signatures are not legit. Is that possible?
Well, that could be a possibility, but maybe if that's also a possibility, then IEC should be able to say they don't fall short. Because if you fall short, that means that you did not meet the required numbers, to meet up the requirement. So you did not meet up that requirement. If you fall short, means you obtain less than the number that was required of you. But here we didn't hear any other additional issues saying maybe they were inflated or they were duplicated or anything like that. That was not mentioned in IEC's rejection letter for my party. And I can read from here. And he said, GMC Maifati, he has not complied with section 42.2a, being that in Banjul administrative area, he submitted the support of nomination by less than 200 registered voters, as opposed to the legal requirement that a candidate for the election to the office of the president shall be nominated in the prescribed Form 1A, Part A of the fourth schedule by not less than 5,000 voters whose names appeared in the register of voters, with at least 200 voters from each administrative area. So my party's nomination is hereby rejected in accordance with section 47(1)(I) of the Election Act. Yeah, so basically he falls short of the 200 registered voters in a Banjul administrative area, to make up that 5,000 that is required for every candidate as per the fourth schedule of the Registration Act or Elections Act. So this is what IEC said. But of course, yes, it said the names of the voters should appear in the register of voters. So in your case, like you're saying, that could also be, but IEC was not specific about that. Say you can meet up your 200 administrative area, but maybe somebody's name that appear on your 200 might not have a voter's registration card in that administrative area, or is not registered in that administrative area, even though you submitted 200 on that particular administrative area. But maybe they can find 1 or 2% whose name is not even registered in Banjul. Maybe the person is registered in Carnifing. You understand? So based on that, even though you submitted all of your 200, but they can detect 1 or 2% that is registered in Makati or registered in Banjul or KMC or in West Coast region. So in that regard, they will have to minus that 1% or 2% out of that 200. Then now your 200 become fall short. Yeah. So that could also be the reason, but the IEC did not go into detail. So I completely agree with with that point that you've just highlighted. That could be also a problem.
Yes. So that's what I was saying. Yeah, you submitted the numbers, but probably you haven't done your homework enough to see that there has been discrepancies within the numbers, because IEC will do their due diligence to make sure that the right numbers were put across, and then also if that numbers were meet the requirement. So I think that's what probably is the situation with my party's case. Now with Dr. Ismaila Sise, let's go into a little bit about Ismaila's situation. Okay, Ismaila was all over the place. I mean, we've seen him, in different regions, reaching out to the community level and so forth. I mean, one would think that he has really perhaps reached out to all these areas to get the numbers. So what happened to Banjul? He also didn't meet the requirement.
Yeah, he and my all fall short in Banjul. This means that in their 200 administrative area list or they provided, probably there might be 1 or 2 that is not qualified, or it could be even 1%, because even if it's 1% and you're supposed to do 200, 199 was okay, but maybe 1 falls short, maybe 1% in that 200, it's not registered in Banjul or any of the Banjul administrative area. So obviously that alone can disqualify you. So that's what actually they said. And Ismaila also came out and then he made a video that he was not also in agreement with IEC's claim that they might have to file an appeal. So maybe IEC will run down those unqualified person in that administrative area, just to confirm it, because all the voters cards, they have their registration number and then they have names as well, so you can run down somebody's voters card number in the system and they can tell you where that person is registered. So if you have Momodu Sawane registered in KMC with a voter's card, and then now Momodu Sawane appear in Banjul registration form in one of these political parties that falls short of the 200, and then after running down Momodu Sawane's ID number or the voter's card number, the IEC realized that he was not in fact registered in Banjul, in any of the Banjul administrative area, but Momodu Sawane was registered in KMC. So despite the fact that Momodu Sawane hold a valid registration card, voter's card, but your name appeared in somebody's nomination form on an administrative area, which is not the right place. So that could be one of the reasons why some of them fall short, but doesn't mean that they did not actually provide the 200
the numbers.
Yeah, they can provide
So
280, they can provide 300, but out of that, if a more this one is going to be a tricky one. Like if you say you submit 200 and maybe you provided 280, but out of the 280, maybe one or two gone missing. I don't know, but I know IEC will probably have to say that. So I cannot speculate on that. But obviously, both my and the CA or Ismail Cisse doctor, all fall short in Banjul, by 200. So whatever that it is, even if you do provided 280 numbers, maybe the IEC only run the first 200 people. You understand? Because it could be a trick as well. Some people might submit. They say you do 200 and you submit 280 in case one or two might go bad. Then you have an option of somebody who can replace another person. But if the IEC decide to run only first 200 and then they make their decision based on that, and then they forget about the rest, then obviously that's something IEC got to explain. Yeah, but all we know is that they fall short by 200. Whatever how it is, I don't know. Maybe IEC could probably explain that to them when they file their rejection.
Right. So were you surprised about my Fati and those two? Let's deal with those two now, since their situation is similar. Were you surprised about my Fati and Dr. Cisse, being that they're young, they are of our generation? They came with a lot, they are attract. I mean, like they have an attractive message, and then they are a symbol of hope. Were you kind of surprised why these people would come short?
Yeah, actually, with Dr. Cisse, even though it's a new political party, because I was thinking they might have trouble obtaining that 5,000 voters, coming newly, into the political field. What I mean is coming into this political right now, trying to run for a presidency. So you might think they might struggle as a new party, to come up with 5,000, but they were able to do that. And we have seen CA has been very active recently. They have toured the country, to the rural areas. They have a very good meeting with people out there, so obviously I wasn't surprised that, I'm surprised that, CA could not meet up that amount, but obviously, being a new party and a new candidate going in the field, you might think probably that might be a difficulty in reaching that form, that required number of voter registered, to fill the nomination requirement. But and then seeing what they have done, going crisscrossing around the country, having successful meeting in some communities, obviously was a clear demonstration that they were able to do their homework right. So falling short of the 200 was not something that I expected. Of course, my party has a very good experience. Obviously, he has been in this game for a while, and he's a lawyer. He knows everything about it. So even though we did not see much activity of GMC lately, I know they've been active in combo areas, but I did not see them much in the rural areas having meeting. It could be me. I don't see them, but I think I was surprised that did not meet that, because I think they already have a lot of experience in this, so they should be well prepared in terms of even cross-checking, the number of people that they have submitted, on their list, so that this voter registered people who are registered in those administrative areas require. So it could be lack of time. They didn't have to go through all that. But I am definitely not expecting that JMC will fall short in that area by virtue of their experience and the background of my as a lawyer in this situation.
Right. All right. So that's fair enough. Do you think that these parties are dead or they're gonna come back?
Well,
CA and the GMC.
I'm still hopeful since they already came out and said they have actually appealed against the IEC's decision. So I'm hoping that they will come back because that's my hope. I think they will bounce back if IEC give them the chance to hear their appeal and then verify to make sure. I have the hope that they will come back. Yeah, so I'm hopeful that CA will come back. I'm hopeful that my party will also come back as well.
Right. But at this thing that they could think of is to perhaps join a coalition, right, with one party. So at least, if that party wins, they perhaps can be in the government.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, if they come back, obviously, coalition is the best solution right now against the incumbent. So I know my party and CA both were part of the first coalition talks that just started, which obviously they invited 11 political parties. And then at the time of signature, I think it was 5 political parties, but at least two of them did not appear at the time of signature, which is the National Union Party and of course the other one, the Gambia for All, did not participate in the signature, but they were part of the coalition talks at the time. So obviously, I will expect them to be part of coalition to join the other political parties, and then see where they fit okay, and they feel their agenda is going to be promoted. So whether they come back or not, I think they are still a national asset because both of these politicians are very young, very dynamic, and they have a lot of experience, and they have very good ideas that they want to move the Gambia forward. So therefore, they should not hesitate to join any other political parties, and then with or without IEC, rejecting or accepting their appeal or not.
Right. Okay. So now we move to Murray Sox. I know we have Murray Sox here the other day, like a few months ago, talking about he's gonna take it upon him. He's gonna take it upon herself to denounce her citizenship. She said that Gambia what that for her.
Exactly.
We had a conversation here, I believe 3 to 4 months ago, and we all believe that she's gonna do it, just like how Dr. Cisse did renounce his citizenship, Swedish citizenship. Now to come to realize that she couldn't do it, because of COVID, because of like the delays in the operation. That sucks me, because the first thing I was thinking about is that since the new constitution was rejected in the parliament, the first thing I would say she should have worked on was to renounce the citizenship right away, because there is no other way if you want to really, go ahead and contest for this election. So having to realize that, here that this kind of came to a shock to me and perhaps to many. So what do you think was why would you think Murray Sox wouldn't be able to, wasn't able to get across? Do you kind of believe the story?
Well, actually, even at the time when the new constitution was thrown out by the National Assembly, that was still during the COVID period. So even if after that time she started the process of denouncing her citizenship, it was still not going to be possible because it was still American embassy would still have that COVID, enforcement or COVID regulations going on at the time. So she might not be able to even do that, even if she started at that time. You understand? So, so I believe this is just something that he could not do. I'm not sure if she traveled down to the US here and then tried to do that too. Whether, I mean, I don't know whether he could do. She only have to do it in the Gambia or not, or maybe she has to come to the United States to do it. I'm not sure. But then, whatever the case is, the COVID restriction is something that is being enforced everywhere across the world in the U.S. embassies. But Mary, being the first female candidate throwing her heart in the ring to become a president of the United States was a fantastic opportunity, and it brings a lot of hope and inspired many women in the country. I know, of course, Dr. Aissatou Toure, as an independent candidate, also tried, to run for the presidency in 2016. You understand, and then later become part of the coalition. But Marie was very hopeful, and then I see a lot of women, especially women in diaspora, are really behind her, pushing her to go ahead, with her ambition of becoming a president, of the Gambia. So obviously it was something that she was looking forward to, and then also I've seen her going around the country in some few local communities, and even in the Combo area, she has some meeting as well, with some communities, and the engagement has been happening. So far, she has done what she could, but for the fact that she holds a dual citizenship, that is a requirement that she has to definitely produce, evidence that she she has denounced one of the citizens, American citizens, before she can file in. So in my case, despite going through nomination for a nomination, and she know that she didn't get her citizenship, I think she's not even happy appeared in the first place, or maybe she was just playing a game of chances and see whether it is something that IEC going to pick up, or maybe they can say, well, we'll accept it at this time around, but if you happen to be elected as a president, before you'll be sworn into the office, you'll have to renounce that citizenship first before you can go into the office. So nobody knows, because Tamsil Jassy also holds the same U.S. citizenship, but he also went to the nominations, but later withdrew from the race. So Marie was somebody that females were looking forward to, and they think it was gonna motivate or inspire a lot of women, to throw their heart into the politics instead of being following politicians clapping and dancing with them. But also we have a woman who is very, brave enough, to say that what men can do, women can do it. So I'm also going to stand for the presidency.
So in other words, she's been like a symbol of hope.
Yes.
For women in the political arena.
Absolutely.
Very good, very good. Okay, so that one is also unfortunate situation, and we have a list of other folks. I'm gonna go over the list who were disqualified. Kind of surprising to me. I mean, like, these all aspirants, candidates came out with the notion that, like, we all want to be president, we all can be presidents. I guess, they don't know what it takes, to be president, because this is just a baby step to get the nomination.
Yeah.
Once you get the nomination, I mean, like, and you go to the real campaign, that's where the fist fight starts.
Exactly.
And after that, if you survive that, then you become the president, and you say, gee, I never thought this is how this job is. Like Barrow used to say, you don't know this until you get there.
Yeah.
So I think, this disqualified candidate I will announce now. You have Joseph Henry Joe, Marisok, Alaji Quran, Ibrahima Tabora Mane, Mamadou Ba, Bankoli Banki, Lamin Sutu Bonyang, Maifati, Mamadi SK Kamara, Ismaila Sise, Saktijan Hydra, Aliou So Gap, Sheikh Matar Njai, Independent, Papa Fall, Independent, and Yusuf Dumbia. Wow. So it appears that all these candidates, I think it's about what? 1, 2, 3, 4,
14.
14 candidates were all disqualified.
Yeah.
Kind of make the race a little more smoother now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If I would say it, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of because everybody is saying Gambia, everybody wants to be a president. So it's like the number really sucks everybody
Yeah,
in the Gambia to have that high number of presidential candidates or hopefuls in the Gambia, in a country where we have less than 1 million registered voters. So everybody was like, that was way too much. But it's democracy. Everybody who is a citizen have the right to apply for the post of the presidency. You have all right to do it, whether you see yourself as somebody who will win or not win, but at least you have that right as a citizen. So that's the beauty of democracy. So that
right.
that tells a lot. But obviously, like you said, there's requirements. If you want to go for the presidency, you have to make sure you fulfill those requirements, because otherwise, like my father will say, the law will consume you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a lesson learned. Aspirants, presidents, next time around, do your homework. Make
Exactly.
sure you get the right numbers. Make sure they are real numbers too. If you have to double check their registration with other places, do so. But don't go to IEC with a shortage of numbers from different regions that you could get disqualified. But I cannot. The registration fee you said is 10,000, right? I mean,
Yes.
I may recall. I cannot think that that's too small, because that will only, to register for president of your party, $10,000 seems to be really small. I mean, like dollars is
But
$10,000 is kind of really. I don't think
but
it
that
was like that Jammeh's time, right?
but this is the nomination. You remember that now, the to register your political party, you have to pay now $1 million. So this means most of these people who registered their political parties have actually paid that $1 million in the Gambia. So I think this is just a nomination process that you pay $10,000, just for IEC to sit down and look at your papers and verify that you qualify to run. So I think that is something they have to do. So, but to register your political party, yes, obviously, you have to pay a staggering 1 million, which was not the case during that time. So they have actually, I think Jamie, yeah, in the later part, Jamie increased it to 1 million, because after, I think that's all way of trying to make it competitive so that not many
No,
people
not
will
many people can
stay.
run.
Yeah. Yeah, but people are, that doesn't stop people from forming their political parties. So you see.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that is true. That is true. Right. Yeah. No, I'm saying even the nomination, $10,000 is not much, really. I mean, I understand they pay a lot of money trying to register their party, but having to pay 10,000 alone, I mean, that still that could be increased. So more people could be discouraged from registering. But the point of the matter is, this number of people actually frustrate people,
Yeah.
and it kind of make it like a joke,
Yeah.
because every time Dick and Harry is getting into the race, and some of us actually know some of these folks are not qualified, even from their background, and then they are what they've been doing in the past. We knew that these people are not ready.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
in order to discourage that kind of numbers next time, I think the fees has to go up a little bit, so that anybody coming in, you can well fund it, and you know that definitely this is a serious business.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now,
Definitely.
moving forward, the candidates elected.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, candidate nominated, not elected.
Yeah.
Candidate nominated and
Right.
all qualified. Usainu Dabo, Mama Kande, Halifa, Babukar Sala, Adama Barrow, Esa Mbaifal, and Mamadou Jammeh. The last one, Mamadou Jammeh, doesn't seem to be familiar. Do you know anything about Mamadou Jammeh?
Yeah,
I mean, I
Mr.
wonder
Jami
how you
was
know.
Mr. Jami was, I think he was the director of civil aviation before. I don't know much about him, but he has quite a good experience working for the government and in various portfolios. So I don't know much about him, but obviously he has served the country in various areas, and then so many people believe or trust in his leadership skills and also they refer him to be very hardworking man, and then very dynamic, and then very knowledgeable as well. So yeah, so I don't know much about him, but obviously he has a lot of experience working in the Gambia government, especially civil service, civil aviation authority, where he one time served as the director.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because all these other names seems familiar and probably well-known names in the Gambia, but Abdullah Jammeh was not. It kind of make me think that he he does his homework much better than much better than Maifati, Ismaila, and the Mari Sox. I kind of had those people kind of have more name than him, if I would say, at least as far as I'm concerned. But he probably did, his homework to be here.
Yeah.
So,
but we have also seen he got some people behind him who also have a very good strong experience in the civil service, like the former Secretary General and then head of civil service Usman Jammeh. I think he's behind this Jammeh. So obviously he got
the people. Okay.
Yeah, he had a good team behind him who have a lot of experience politically and also serving in the government.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right. The next thing, there was a lot of rumors that perhaps Kende and Hussein might not qualify for the nomination. Kind of raised some tensions, false rumors, but I guess that never became the case. So thank God, we have at least these candidates going toe to toe to this election. Now, just a quick this thing about the nomination. Isam Baifal complained that he was taken advantage of the fact that some of the vehicles that's supposed to bring about 20 supporters were turned down because Barrow's people, MPP folks, gave those drivers money. Did you hear about that allegation? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I heard about the allegation. I also watched Asa Fal's press conference after the nomination, and of course, he highlighted something like that there is some political gimmicks happening over there in that regard. But then I also listened to the other side of the story, which was the president of the National Transport Union, and then he was refuting Esa's claim that the vehicle that he hired was taken by MPP. But what the president said was, the president of the transport union said was, obviously, they went for the highest bidder, what the money that ESA offered, and then what the driver received from the other side, they just simply went for somebody who pay higher, and there is no contract between them and ESA. There's nothing like yes, Sawane, you want to hire my vehicle. Of course, yes, this can be a verbal agreement. I will need your vehicle tomorrow. I'll pay $500. But as soon as you left, somebody come and offer me $1,000. Then obviously, and then
I'll be mad.
Yeah, I know it is very disappointing because obviously you will expect that you had an agreement with me, Sawane, that I'm going to use your vehicle, and then we had an agreement. But after that, somebody offered me something good. I think what they're supposed to do was, instead of waiting for the day when SI is going to need their vehicle, especially when these two candidates' nomination fall on the same day, you understand? So I think the drivers should have communicated to Isa Fal, to say, hey, I know we make this agreement, you come to contact me, but obviously right now, somebody offered me more, so please go look for somewhere else. I think that should be the best thing the drivers should have done. Because SI is not twisting their hand to say that you have to come and pick my people. But then if we cannot, and he has already contacted you, then you need to feed back to him and say, well, obviously, I know we made this agreement, but I cannot because I make some more money somewhere else. Unless you want to offer or you want to match, the same amount. Maybe Isa will be prepared to pay extra because since he's going to need those vehicles to transport his people. He could match the MPP amount. You understand? Because MPP also took advantage of that. say if somebody book a car for $500, and I know that definitely I need that car for my people, all I can do to get my people on that car is to raise the amount. And I think that's what they did. So I think the drivers failed to communicate to Isha, one, because either he will have the option to opt out and look for somewhere else, or reduce the amount of money that the NPP offered. Maybe he can match them. Then that way he could stand a chance because he was the first person to contact the drivers. So I think it's a game of politics there too, but also, interest, and also how much money, one is able to offer.
Right. In my own analysis, I always tell people, when it comes to politics, you have to play dirty. If anybody comes to politics and think it should be smooth, you are mistaken. I mean, in as much as how decent people are, when it comes to politics, they gonna see what can win, as long as it stay in the context of the rules. Now, certain things are unethical, right? You would be mad about them because, like what had happened to Asa was unethical. They could have given, if there was no gonna be any sabotage of his supporters coming, they could have let him know ahead of time, either from the MPP side or from the driver's side.
Right.
At least he will have an option to find vehicles somewhere. I wouldn't think Gambia is with vehicle-less. There are vehicles somewhere. But the fact of the matter is, it was done at the last minute when the program is already here, the nomination is already here, took away the chances of him looking for option B.
Yeah.
So technically, that's a political move. Either anybody accepts it or not, either it's ethical or unethical. That is a strategic political move by the MPP, folks.
Right.
So I always say this: you cannot take anybody to court for that. Okay, it's unethical, but that's full stop. So this is what politics comprises of. That's why there is an ugly side of politics that candidates used and win. See, that day, if that day was an election day, Asia would have lost big time.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And he have even lost, because imagine that those 20,000 people were there. That would have boosted his morals, and then also give him a higher hope than what he has. Absolutely. So again, I tell people, don't take politics lightly. Like somebody slap you in the back and you say, "What? This is not part of the rule." Well, if he facing you and slap you from the back, he managed to go behind you and do it.
Yeah.
So he's still in the context, but it's very unethical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Gambian folks need to do that. Instead of trying to cry for every foul play. I mean, there will be foul plays. Trust me, especially when you have incumbent not incumbent party, but incumbent candidate who has a party that is capable enough to use any means within the context of the rules. Either use it, ethically or unethically, they would. So that's why elections, are unpredictable. I always tell people that. But if you think that, it will be smooth, it will not. I think Asa's, situation here kind of tell me, I don't know about you or Vamara and others, tell me that many of these things could happen throughout this campaign for the last day. So we have to stay and watch out. Yeah, but this was something that I felt, it was worth discussing.
Yeah,
are you there,
right. I'm here. So are you saying politics should be dirty?
Well, what JFK usually said is everybody want their children to be president, but nobody wants their children to go through what it takes to be president, which is this campaign.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. If you see, everybody would say, your parents will want you to sit there.
Right.
If they can automatically take you and dump you in that White House or State House, and then become the president, they will love that. But boy,
Absolutely. Yeah.
what comes with it, the cursing out, the threat, the insult, the attempted, attempt on your life, the insult, the disrespectfulness, all that come with campaign to win is a lot. Or you have to have a thick skin and determination to survive it.
Right.
And you have to know the game also. We have to beat the system somehow. I mean, I've never seen like an election that, like you would say, especially if it is a tight race, you would say somebody didn't do a tweak somewhere.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either
Cool.
one candidate will shoot themselves on the foot, like Donald Trump did, and other candidates who lost here, or Jammeh did by causing out all the Mandinkas and so forth, or the other candidate will come and did tweak somewhere to take an advantage, like shutting down the system, communication system, doing that like they did in Eastern transportation. Somebody has to do something if it is so tight like that. It's just like a tight race. You're running, me and you, we were running a race, running on the track. Right. What usually happens is something has to, especially if we're at the same speed, somebody has to do something either a night before or the track over there, and sometimes it comes with luck. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, a chance of a draw. It comes with a chance of a draw. You have a little luck, boom, you got it. That's why some people get a very stunning upset. Right. Me and you can be at the same speed and the same level of athleticism. We stand on that track and you step on a stone or something happen, or your muscle twist or something happens. So it can be sometimes a luck. And then you've been winning all these years, but this time around I beat you because of that little thing. So that's why I'm trying to say, politics should be dirty. It is not ethically supposed to be dirty, but it is. Okay. And then if I have the chance, I'm in the ring with you, Mvamara, and I won that. Yeah. I'm not gonna make it obvious, but to slow you down, I will do it. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's cool. It makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So this is it. All right. So we're coming to wrap it up. But Mvamara, what else do you have towards this nomination that you think worth emphasizing and then worth discussing? Because this is historical. I mean, we never have this number of candidates, new aspirants, people who are willing to take the responsibility to lead us in the next 5 years. And some of them we know, some of them are close associates. What is your entire take on this or analysis on this? Yeah, it's just so that Gambia, we are now in a new democracy because now every citizens want to show that they can be part of political process, which everybody is entitled to, obviously. So the nomination, we have learned a lot that yes, you are a citizen, you can run for president as soon as you, as much as you want it, but also you need to get yourself prepared because otherwise the law is going to catch you somewhere else. So, but also, what is also see that us in Gambia, it's like everybody wants to be a leader in the Gambia. That's also tells a lot. Even though it is democracy, but it looks like we all want to lead in some way, either our organizations, our institutions, or everywhere we are, everybody wants to be a leader. Because all these 26 candidates, obviously, if you compare and contrast their manifestos, even though some of them we have not seen it, but obviously there must be a similarity somewhere. You might at least, in fact, maybe your manifesto or what your points of agenda, might be very much similar with a political party. So if you want to run for a presidency and you find that another political party really match what you really want to do, why can't you join that person or political party? Or maybe everybody just want to be a leader so that they can become part of the government in coalition. But we all know that obviously now it is going to be very difficult for one party to win based on the fact that we don't have 50+1, it's just a simple majority. And then looking at the number of political parties that we have, it's going to be very difficult for one single political party to be a winner. So some take it as an opportunity to join a coalition. In that way, obviously,
they will have the chance of becoming a minister, or maybe there might be an ambassador, or deputy ambassador somewhere, or all of those things could be happening. But so far so good. I think the positive side is more. That shows that the Gambia is in a democratic country now. We are in a new democracy. Every citizen have the right to run for the office of the presidency, so long as you meet the criteria, and then you have the required knowledge and experience, and you are also able to, convince people to vote for you. So everybody have that opportunity. So this is what it tells us. But also, people needs to be prepared before they come to the field. That also shows that, because the number of political parties or independent candidates that have been rejected, it's a clear demonstration that you need to do your homework before you come to this field. So you should be prepared in terms of mobilizing your people, but also fulfilling all the requirements, because that makes you to become somebody that people can have trust in, and then give you the responsibility to become the head of state of our country. So if you cannot fulfill these simple requirements, and yet you want to be our head of state, where the whole country will be under your administration, including all the government institutions, then obviously there will be a doubt that whether you are going to do that or not. So that could be a reason why. Yeah, so that's very important.
Excellent. Now, just before we wrap up, there are these candidates that have been dropped out. We have seen that there are some who went to Borough. I don't know the number. I mean, like, who are those? I mean, like, this aspirant candidate. But we know that some of them will go to Borough, and some of them perhaps will go to UDP and Mama Candace's party, and perhaps the other parties. Now, do you think like that would change the dynamic of the race, or these parties are so small that it wouldn't make any difference?
Well, no party is small, because no matter what the case is, the person and the family is behind the person. Like if Sawana stands for a presidency, even though he might not be able to convince everybody in every administrative area, but I know entirely Sawana's got a family behind him, whether it's a 10 person or 10, 20, but at least you have people behind you. And all right, and your extended families as well might likely support you.
Right.
So
right.
even a 10 votes difference is a big difference. So I think it will be a plus to join any political party. They will at least bring in somebody. Some might be having a bigger number, some might have less number, but at least when you join a political party or a coalition, you are at least bringing in somebody, and your family members will be able to join you. So far so good. We have seen some candidates have withdrawn, and of course GFA, which is Gambia for All, Bakari Bunja Dabo has already said they are going to back the UDP. And then we have seen recently Mamadou Ba, one of the independent candidates, said he has joined Barrow. And then our brother from Brufut, Seth Tijan Haidara, Honorable also made a declaration yesterday after his nomination has been rejected, that he's also going to support Barrow's candidacy. So obviously the GAP party, we have seen even before the nomination, Musa Bachili, who is the Secretary General, also declared that he's going to work with President Barrow even before the nomination. But then his party decided to suspend him for doing that. So, and then the party, the flag bearer, went ahead to do some nomination. But so far, they are the only political party that has been accused of forgery. So whatever document they forged, we don't know yet, but at least they forged something. So whether that's the fault of the new flag bearer or the administrative people who were there before he came in, we don't know. Yeah. So we're still waiting. So many people are behind. We don't know where they are. And then hopefully we'll see more and more people joining the race. But the issue about Dabo has finally come to rest, because it was something that has been on the lips of many people even before the nomination come, that he was not going to be qualified, simply because some are saying he has been in the office and then Barrow sacked him. So the constitution said they will not be able to allow him to run. But Dabo had made it clearly in many occasions that the only thing that can stop me from running for the office of the presidency in this coming election is when I'm sick or I am dead. That's the only thing that can stop me. But as far as that, he has no reasons to see why he should not vie for the presidency. And he made that clear. But, people were so some people are using politics, but some of his party supporters were also very panicked, especially the day before the nomination. We all hear that, he has been rejected. Some people even say that, that he has been rejected, but then the information came that he was selected, he was nominated. So all of this has come to the race. And then the change of his name too, because not many people know that he has an Abubakar name there, So some people say, why would he change his name? That he has a 2 voters card, or he has 2 passports with the 2 different names and all of those things. They mention all that. But thank God, all of this has been laid to rest. And now Dabo is now qualified to run for the presidency and then challenge his son, which is Adam Barrow. They're now going to be in the same ring. Now, father and son are going to meet in the same ring now with other political parties.
I can't wait for this thing to unfold. Yeah. So we have a guest here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's calling from the Gambia. He's calling from the Gambia, right? Where are you calling from?
I'm in Gambia and I'm studying currently in Dakar.
Oh, yeah, in Dakar. Okay. Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, go ahead. You are echoing a little bit. Go ahead.
I think the device is listening to here, so reduce the volume of the device.
Teachers came out and then said they need a salary increasement. When that was said, if any teacher comes out, they're going to terminate all teachers' service, and then so they can go on for the retirement teachers. And then imagine that was trying to destabilize the country, And then now that was made himself as if his parties were the only victims in Gambia here. What hurts me most, anytime any interview that he has in the public, he will mention one name, that is police solicitor. And we all know that it's the police solicitor who died in the Japanese region. There are many families that lose their lives during Japanese region. But this project is based on revenge. And then I saw my fellow governments, if any day that we give the Zimbabwe this country, I tell you, most of us will be sad because of what this target is to do revenge. And then if you can see we all know that was an ex-convict, and then his service was terminated. We all know all those things. So why is that? I don't know. IEC don't do those kind of scrutiny, because that will automatically everybody, even though they are big-minded, the lawyers are there. Remember, they are cooks. They can say that, okay, they can play with the people, with people's mind. You see? And then secondly, that one was that he was an ex-convict, and then his service was terminated by Barrow. He was the public servant he was a public servant and ministry, and then finally as the vice president, and his service was terminated. And remember, in one of the sections Constitution, but it says that if you are an ex-convict or your service was terminated, you are not fit to become to run for president. We don't know those things. So what is he back about? And if he said that he believes in the rule of law, where did he take his mind back to those issues? I'm not supporting Barrow, but that's the reality.
Okay. Yeah, you heard him, right? Mboma.
We should be the one to fight for that, because if we see that IEC, we should go out and say these things that that was an ex-convict and he cannot run for president. Because remember, those IEC are not, they are human beings, they make mistakes. So it's also that their minds can be clear. It's not that I'm saying that in government contest presidential election, then no election. What is that? So it's not the current leader. The current leader should support that. And for me, those who are deciding, for me, I'm very disappointed with family say that yes, young people, we want a to take us. Okay, so with his capacity of education, I have not seen it. Because for me, he's looking for his hungry of job. That's the reality. Thank you very much.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel Jassy, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you very much. Mbara,
Yes.
yeah, do you hear what he said?
He's breaking up badly from my end here, so I did not catch all what he was saying.
Yeah, I could explain what he said. His argument is Dabo is an ex-convict.
Yes.
And he is also searched from the office. So why should Dabo himself know that? Why should he even consider running after knowing the laws? And IEC, he believed that IEC perhaps, don't know enough, or they didn't interpret the constitution enough to kind of stop Dabo. So he said that he's even disappointed that in Sabali, by stating that Dabo is our leader and because Sabali is hungry for job. So those are the things that I think I learned from this gentleman. What is your take on that?
Well, Dabo is a constitutional lawyer, and obviously we know that he has been imprisoned by Yahya Jammeh, obviously, and based on the fact that they did a peaceful protest, he didn't do anything illegal, because obviously they went on a peaceful protest to demand the body of Solo Sandeng, dead or alive, and which obviously Solo was arrested and detained, killed, tortured and killed, and because they demand for electoral reforms. So I am not a lawyer, but what Dabo made it very clear, even when people said that he was not qualified to run, he made it clear that the only two that can stop me from running is when I'm dead or I'm sick. I cannot run for the presidency. So I believe he is very competent with the law, and he's a constitutional lawyer by himself. And then on all the lawyers in the Gambia, majority says that, so far the ones that I've listened to, says, apart from, I think Mr. Mboch was the one that was doubtful, and then I don't know, George, whatever, but I know a couple of people were doubtful about whether Dabo was qualified to run, but majority were saying that he can run because they even came out to read those relevant sections of the Constitution that mention something like that. So I think if it is something that was illegal, obviously, I think the IEC would pick it up. Otherwise, I mean, if it's a democratic country, if anybody feel that IEC did wrong in that, I mean, they can file an appeal and say something about it. But Dabo was confidently saying that he was right to run for the presidency. And then, the only thing that can stop him is when he's dead or when he's sick. That's the only thing. And we have also seen lawyer Dabo, the other Yankuba Dabo, also made recently before the nomination. He quoted various sections just to interpret the law, what the law actually mean by, is it public servants and public officials? So he already mentioned it very clear, about that. I'm not sure about being a convict. I don't know about that, what the Constitution say about a convict and running for presidency. I'm not sure about that. But mainly people were saying that he was not able to run. So in that regard, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just embarking on the analysis that we have listened to so far from various lawyers in the country, and from lawyer Dabo himself. So obviously, I don't know, but I'm not a lawyer. But so far, what we have.
So in other words, there is a conflicting interpretation of lawyer Dabo's arrest as to whether it applies to that constitution, that portion of the constitution section.
Yes.
Section.
Yes.
So in other words, our constitution is not clear, cannot be specifically clear, because any law that's not specifically clear, and there can be ambiguity between the lines to the point that you cannot even make a right decision. That law needs to be revisited. That law is not totally clear, because if it's convicted, okay, convicted is convicted.
Right.
He found guilty.
Yeah.
Okay, when he was found guilty, it didn't say that. The law should have looked into and said, hey, if somebody was found guilty because a dictator kind of imposed it on the person, then that doesn't fall into this. So
Yeah.
I think lawyer was found guilty, but the way he was found guilty, that's where people didn't agree with.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
That's the
that's
point.
why IEC can implement it. So
Yeah.
Gambians understand that
Mhm.
the manner lawyer was found guilty, the constitution definitely was right, but it didn't explain. Our Gambian people cannot come to terms how lawyer was found guilty was constitutional or not. So let's go
Yeah.
and change our laws to kind of avoid this kind of problem. I mean,
Absolutely.
Gambia, I'm still disappointed when it comes to
Yeah.
lawyers. Even some of us who don't study law know more than them when it comes to the law. Law is something that you have to look at all the corners.
Mhm.
Don't just go smoothly on top of it. Don't be vague. Explain any possibility that can come out to ask questions and answer, put that in the constitution. It doesn't matter the constitution is bulky or not, but this area really messes up. Now we have, even if lawyer wins, people would say, like this guy from Senegal would say, a convicted felon, a convicted person is leading the Gambia. So it's our own fault. We are not clear on these terms. As far as termination is as a civil servant, that also is another question. He was terminated. I was in the Gambia that month. If that was in somewhere April 2019, I was even in the Farah. I was crossing the Barra ferry going to Numi. I was in my car and I heard this conviction. I'm sorry, this termination. So how if somebody is a civil servant terminated, is that also part of the constitution? I'm from
Yeah, that's
you know the constitution more than me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot
No,
interpret.
you don't have to be a lawyer, but do you know do you know that part of the constitution is like the guy explained? Is that also part of is that also in the constitution?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not familiar with the relevant section in the constitution on that area, so I don't want to say something that I'm not very okay about.
We are just are not sophisticated enough, or maybe we are not honest enough to ourselves. I think I play impartial all along when we in this kind of discussion. But what is the truth should be the truth. What is the law should be the law. I mean, you either apply it or neglect it.
Oh yeah,
we either applied it. But anything we are doing, let's do it across the board. If we are not applying it, let's not applying it across the board. If we are applying it, let's apply it across the board. I think that's a fair analysis. But that was, I understand everybody would be mad. I mean, be scared to stop him from running, because of the way the country is. I mean, even our leaders would not do that. But again, we should do our homework. Especially 2016, we should do our homework and make sure we change this part of at least this section. They change the age limits. They change certain things in this old constitution, 1917, 1997. Why neglect this kind of thing? Right. This ambiguity is killing us. And now people might not even accept the outcome of the election based on that. The same thing happened with 3 years, Barrow's 3 years and 5 years. Right. We danced around on it. People were arrested, not constitutional, all kind of mess. We have messy lawyers. Our lawyers are not really up to the par. And then I would leave it to that. But basically, this guy has a point. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, law is law. Whenever you have a law, that's the essence of making laws. It needs to be enforceable, But basically, there are top lawyers in the Gambia. Then obviously, the man himself is a constitutional lawyer. And then I'm sure he's very, very familiar with the law, and he knows what he's saying.
But when you're talking about that, I don't think you should even mention Dabo, because he would not. I mean, let me tell you something. If you are having this interpretation about that portion, and it's not clear, Dabo will not come and shoot himself on the foot by saying, "Oh, I'm not qualified." I would not do that. I also believe in dance around the people who would say, "I'm qualified. I'm qualified. I'm a constitutional lawyer." Right. So who wouldn't use that to his advantage? I would. Obviously. Yeah. So I don't think having quoting Dabo would be, a fair answer to this. I think the most important thing is, like you said, conflicting, opinions, and then we end up getting, we end up where we are.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You can say this to many other things that happen in the Gambia. So I think, let's just leave it like it is. I mean, IEC, let it go, and then people should just rally behind whoever wins.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. But I think the government, I mean, we have the entire judiciary system. Now, IEC, their electoral law is something that is, is there to be enforced, obviously. I'm sure they did their own, and I'm sure even the IEC have lawyer that advise them on legal matters, obviously. So they will not do something that is not, in line or in contravention to their electoral act. So obviously, like you say, we are not lawyers, but IEC as an organization, they have their own lawyers. I can hear you, Sawani. I cannot hear you.
No, the guy just called me and tell me the section where the arrest, when you terminated. I'll say it again. Let's hear it. Where is the section?
Section 36. It's section election of the president. Section 36.
He said election act president, section 31st of 1997 constitution. This guy seems to know. Election act. Okay. All right. So, no, yeah, I think I read about, termination as well. Yeah, as a civil servant. Yeah. Okay. All right. We actually highlight that part as well, and then I think that is clear.
It is loud and clear. That is loud and clear.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting us. Yeah. Thank you for coming back. Hello. I think Mbaba.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the guy probably did more work on the constitution than me. I feel embarrassed a little bit for that, but he's just given us the Election Act 1997 constitution, where it says that if you are fired as a civil servant, then you're not qualified. He's mentioning that one also. So it looks like there are two things.
Yeah, but how come the judiciary didn't pick up that? The IEC is a law. It's an institution that is backed. They have an electoral act. Electoral act is backed by a law, and they have a lawyer. And all of this is going to the judiciary. So maybe we don't know, but obviously there's no way all the lawyers cannot pick up this in the country. That's not possible. So maybe law is very funny. It's very critical. The way you interpret it and the way I interpret it might be different, because this is something electoral.
Yeah, but Mama, I mean, Gambian, don't doubt Gambian lawyers, man. I'm telling you, man. Don't kind of like think Gambian lawyers could pick this up. So sometimes these people don't even care, or they don't even they think it's something different. Because again, what is there is did they even believe in that constitution? Perhaps that's why they don't even want that constitution. It's just that we see ourselves using it again.
Yeah,
so
we all know 1997 constitution is not the best, because Jammeh just did that based on what he wanted. He just did what he wanted. But obviously, we don't have a new constitution, so we are going by 1997, even though it's not the best. The new constitution was done, and then everything was stipulated in that constitution. A lot of changes has been done, and then it was thrown out of the window. So we have no constitution. So we are relying on the 1997 constitution, which Jammeh, modified the way he wanted it, so that he can have ultimate control and power, to do whatever he wants to do in the country, And then if you look at the analysis, like I'm saying, I'm not a lawyer, but if you look at the analysis that various lawyers we have been saying, because this has been discussed in various national platforms, in various national discussions, you understand? But like I said, majority of the lawyers that interpreted the same section that he is quoting from, and the same thing that he was talking about, and then lawyers, unanimous majority of the lawyers that I've listened to, they all say there's nothing wrong with it. You know, he is qualified to run. And the same section that he's quoting from the Constitution is the same section, even recently when Yankuba Dabo was doing the analysis of the various points that people were using.
That's what I'm saying.
He was kind of interpreting it, but that's, yeah. So these are the situation where, I mean, that's the situation, you know, it is. So obviously, it is the lawyers who can say, you know, obviously, I'm sure the entire judiciary. That's why we have the judiciary, the Ministry of Justice, you know, to help the IEC, you know, to help all the government institutions, you know, and then, you know, define the law the way it is stipulated in the Constitution, and they help those institutions out, because there is no point in making laws if we cannot enforce them. But the law has to be also very clear. So that's the situation.
Yeah, I think the clarity is the part here, and then everybody is running with their interpretation, and then
everybody going with their interpretation. Exactly.
Nobody wanna, you know, actually come out and fight it and so forth. So I think it's fine since the IEC didn't they just apply what they got, and then the judiciary, like you said, never look at it and challenge it.
I'm pretty sure IEC did their homework. They did their homework. They have really consulted their lawyers or whatever they need to do, because it's something that is openly out there that many people are talking about. So for them to come with that decisions, then obviously, I'm sure they really did their homework. You know, they quoted the relevance.
Like I said, if something is not clear,
yeah,
you and I would take advantage of it. What did Trump say when they said that you pay too little tax? He said, who wrote it? Who passed the bill? He said the Congress.
Right.
Don't blame me. What they passed favors me. So people who are reading those constitutions left a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
If they say that, you know, the conviction is going to be based on, you know, somebody, you know, enforcing like they did with Dabo, Jammeh kind of, you know, arrested him because, you know, he was just a dictator, and then trying to arrest him wrongly. But the point is that that's not the point here. If that had been clear in the Constitution, we all gonna be, by now we're gonna say nobody's gonna talk about this. But it's only stated they are convicted. Convicted means you go to court and they say, oh, it's against you. Judgment is against you. And that's actually took place in this case. So that's why I think our constitutional lawyers need to do a lot of work when they are writing this kind of stuff. Yeah, but it's great. It's great to get to the bottom of those things, arguments.
Yeah.
I think, you know, this nomination, we have done quite a good job looking at all the areas. Mfamara, you are well versed in this area. You know, I think, you know, Gambia need people like you and Sam, Jaka, and then Alas and others who come to the show every Sunday and give their best. You know, we don't know everything. We are not an expert, but we come here, try to give our analysis based on what we read, what we see, what we hear, and analyze it from an impartial point of view. So, Vamara, your final words on today's show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hawaneo. The time did not allow us to talk about other candidates, but I think Honorable Salah, you know, Mama Kande, you know, they've all seen themselves being among the 6 candidates that were actually allowed to run for the presidency. So obviously we have 2 experienced people, and Honorable Dabo and then Honorable Halifa Salah. And then Halifa has already made it clear that this is his last chance to run for the office of the presidency, and also the same time of National Assembly when come next year. You know, he's not going to run again. So he'll be doing something different altogether. So so far so good. Dabo too, I believe. You know, if he had the opportunity, probably this might be obviously his time. Mama Kande is still young. He has a lot of time to go. And then we have the 2 APRC faction that divided going to Barrow, and also the one staying with Mama Kande. And our brother, you know, from the GANU, which is Tijan Hydra, with Jammeh officially endorsed in the beginning for his party to work with him. But at the end of the day, we see them going to GDC as well. So it is very interesting nomination process, and we look forward to the election, and we wish all the candidates all the best of luck. And then hopefully we'll see more coalition coming up in the next week or so. We see more political parties coming together. Yeah, so far so good. Thank you so much, Mr. Sawane. Good to have you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mfamara, and then thank you, viewers, for this wonderful discussion today. We couldn't go into the details of everything, but at least we touched the most important areas. That is what is important. And we are here to sensitize you. Follow us online on YouTube, and keep us posted with your feedback. Again, we are here to make sure our country survives, and then we select the right leadership. We advise the right morals. We are accountable. We are transparent. We are up to par with our things. There's always can be a room of improvement. I know, people are doing their best individually, but holistically, we need to come together and make Gambia better. And this is what this platform is for: sensitization, civic education, global issues, discussing, and communicating and giving our thoughts in a shared format. So thank you all, and see you next week, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you, Mfamara.
All right, thank you, Sawane.
Yeah, have a good day.
All right, you too.
Take care.